So once again, this is a review for tomorrow's test on Friday. Okay, first question says a function f of x is undefined when. So remember, it's undefined when the denominator is 0. So we're going to set the denominator equal to 0. And we are going to factor. Right? It's going to be something times something equals 0. We're going to look at the factors of negative 24 that add up to 5. So I think of the factors of 24, two numbers that when we multiply give us 24. We have 8 times 3. We also have 6 times 4. We also have 12 times 2. However, it has to subtract to be 5, or subtract to equal 5, because this is negative. So that means one of the numbers has to be negative. So to make it equal 5, we're going to put the negative on the 3. Okay, so if we do negative 3 plus 8, that is equal to 5. So I can say that this will be, looking at my numbers from here, it's going to be x plus 8, x minus 3. So we solve, this is going to be 0 when x is negative 8 and x equals 3. In other words, solve for x. So we identify the denominators. We have an x minus 2, we have a 5, and we have x minus 2. So the first thing we need to do is find the LCD. The LCD in this case is going to be 5 times x minus 2. So we see what's missing.
Missing
On the far left, right? This one, what's it missing?
it's the same as x minus 2. So you have to put 1 under.
But what's that denominator missing from the LCD? This one is missing 5. Okay, this is missing x minus 2. And this is also missing a 5. Now, whatever we do to the bottom, we must do to the top. Okay? Now, once we get the denominators all the same, notice they all have a 5 and x minus 2, 5 and x minus 2. We can kind of forget the denominators and just focus on the numerators. We have 5 times x, that's 5x. 1 times x minus 2, well, that's going to be itself, right? That's going to be a positive x minus 2. And on this side, 2 times 5, well, that's 10. Right? 2 times 5 is 10. So now we can combine like terms. We have 5x and 1x, which is 6x minus 2 equals 10. And then this can be just solving an equation for x. So we move the negative 2 to the other side of the equation. The negative 2 becomes positive 2. So we got 6x, 10 plus 2. So 10 plus 2 is 12. We divide by 6, x equals 2. However, when x equals 2, we notice that that's going to be an extraneous solution, actually. Because when we substitute x equals 2 here in the original, that makes it 0, makes it undefined. So actually, this has no solution. all values of x for which the expression is defined, okay, we have x squared plus 4x divided by x squared plus 7x plus 12 is equivalent to, so we want to write an equivalent expression, okay? So what we first have to do is factor, see a GCF here. So there's actually a GCF of x. So let's write that over here. I see a GCF of x. So I divide by x on both sides. X squared divided by x1 is x. 4x divided by x is 4. So we're going to have x times x plus 4 in the top. And now we are going to factor the denominator here. So that's going to be factors of 12 that add up to 7. 6 times 2, but 6 and 2 doesn't give me 7. I can do 3 times 4 because 3 plus 4 is 7. So I found my factors. So this is equivalent to x plus 3 and x plus 4. What happens here, guys? What happens here? How can we simplify this?
Is it possible you can add a negative sign to
We're not going to add a negative sign. We're going to cancel. Okay? And then the answer is going to be, whenever you have something on the top and the bottom, the same factors, we can cancel it out. So that's our answer there for number 3. All right. For number 4, it says a sketch of Rx is shown below. Okay, where we have an x-intercept at A, at negative B, and negative C. An equation for Rx could be, and we have our 4 choices. Okay, now let's look at our sketch here. From our sketch, let's just say that this is negative 5. This is negative 2. And this is 3. Okay? In other words, those are my x-intercepts. So, if that were the case, okay, if that were the case, then it would be x plus 5, x plus 2, and x minus 3. So do you see the pattern there? I went from, if it's negative on my factors, I put a positive. If it's negative, positive. If it's positive, negative. Okay? So this is the factored form of the function. Okay? So now if we go to variables, it's the same idea. So I should be looking for an x plus c. If I don't see an x plus c, because it has to be the opposite. So I can actually eliminate 2 and eliminate 3. Okay, and then it must also be a plus b, okay, and a minus a. Now we have 2 solutions here, or 2 choices. It's either choice 1 or 4. Okay. Now remember that the x plus c squared is going to show in the graph, when there is actually 2, so this is actually x plus c and x plus c, we're going to see that there's going to be, the function is going to be more flat by the x-intercept. But in this case, we don't see that, so we could eliminate 4. Okay, but if you were to see something like that, it's more kind of stays longer on the x-intercept, we would have picked choice 4. But since that is not the case, we're going to go with choice 1. The completely factored form of 2d to the 4th plus 6d cubed minus 18d squared minus 54d is, okay, so we're going to analyze each of the terms. One of my observations is that I see all of them have a variable d, and they're also even numbers. Okay, so I can right away see that there's a GCF. We're going to start off with GCF of 2D, because all of them have at least the letter D, and all of them are even. Okay, that is the greatest common factor. So we have 2D to the 4th plus 6D cubed minus 18D squared minus 54D. So we have 2D as a GCF there. So we divide everything by 2D. So if we divide everything by 2D, 2 divided by 2 is 1. D to the 4th divided by D1 is D cubed. Okay, we have 6 divided by 2 is positive 3. D cubed divided by D1 is D squared. 18 divided by 2 is 9. And D squared divided by D is D. 54 divided by 2 is negative 27, and the D's cancel out. Okay? Now I see what's left. I see that there is no more common GCF. There's nothing common about it. Okay? However, I can factor by grouping. Okay? I can factor, for example, I can look at these first two terms, find the GCF there, and then factor the GCF on this one, right? This is all pretty much reviewed. Okay? So let me okay. Now I'm going to rewrite it, 2D. Now there's a GCF of D cubed and 3D. I see both of them have a D squared. So we're going to have a D squared GCF. Okay. And then what's left is D plus 3. And on the other one, I can see that I can factor a negative 9, and that's going to become D plus 3. So now I see that both of them have a D plus 3. Okay, let's create some more space. So this is going to be 2D Now I'm going to factor out the d squared and the minus 9. Well, actually, that's what's left. So we have d plus 3. I just factored that out. And what's left is just d squared minus 9. Okay. So this has actually various factoring. It has GCF, factor by grouping, and then it has another one. Right? This is dots. Okay, actually I can factor that even further. But they don't do that here, actually. Alright, so based on our choices, our answer is going to be 1. Primitive x minus 5 is a factor of 2x cubed minus 4x squared minus 7x minus 10. Explain your answer. If x minus 5 is a factor, that means that x equals 5 is a solution. Okay, so let's check if that is true. Okay, because if it is a solution, this should equal 0. So we're going to do 2 times 5 cubed minus 4 times 5 squared minus 7 times 5 minus 10. Okay, if I put that in the calculator, this is going to give me 105. Okay, because it's not equal to 0. Okay, because it is not equal to 0. X minus 5 is not a factor. Guys, this technically should be 6. Okay, and this should be 7.
Yeah.
So there only going to be 7 questions, okay?
Because you said 9 and 10 for a second.
Yeah. All right. So now, this is another solving. This is solving rational equations. Okay. This is the topic here. So there's actually 2 problems on that because there's actually a lot of problems on solving rational equations. Okay. So it says solve for all values of y. So the first thing we're going to do is we can actually factor this, okay? We're going to factor this and see what that is. So that's going to be 3y plus 2 plus y over y minus 5. The factors of negative 10, okay, factors of negative 10 that add up to negative 3. So the factors of 10 are 5 times 2, but it has to subtract to negative 3. So I'm going to put the negative on the 5. Negative 5 times 2 is negative 10. Negative 5 plus 2 is negative 3. So we're going to have x plus 2, x minus 5. Okay? So, oh, sorry, this should be y.
Yeah, it's a lie. Oh no.
Yeah, so it should be y and y. Okay? Now, I see that the LCD here is y plus 2 times y minus 5. Okay, we kind of combine all the factors together. Now, we also can say that it cannot be, if you look at the original, y cannot be equal to negative 2, and y cannot equal 5 because it will make it the denominator 0, which is undefined. Okay, so we cannot have those. Now, we are going to, let's rewrite this. Okay, we're going to rewrite this, and it's 7y over y plus 2 Now, if we see y plus 2 and y minus 5, we're going to see that this denominator is missing. What is this denominator missing? What is this denominator missing?
It's probably missing the y minus 5.
Yes, the y minus 5. Okay. How about this one, Raul?
Yeah.
What is this denominator missing here?
Which one's that?
So remember what we said, the LCD is this. So what's it missing from the LCD? So, the y plus 2. Okay. And remember, whatever we multiply in the bottom, we must multiply to the top. Now, once we have the denominators the same, notice they all have a y plus 2, y minus 5, right? All of them. We can forget about the denominator and just focus on the numerator. Okay? So now, we're going to have 3 times y, well that's 3y. 3 times negative 5, negative 15. Y times y, y squared. 2 times y, that's 2y. Okay, notice I forgot about the denominator. Okay. And now I'm going to combine like terms and rearrange. So I see that I have a 3y, have a 2y. So I can combine that. I'm going to also rearrange it, put it in standard form. So I'm going to have y squared plus 5y minus 15 equals 7y. I'm going to subtract 7y. So I'm going to have y squared minus 2y minus 15 equals 0. Now I have to solve for y. So I'm going to factor. I see my y squared. I see my negative 15, negative 2. So I'm going to look at the factors of negative 15 that add up to negative 2. So 5 times 3 is 15. It has to subtract to negative 2. So it's going to be negative 5. So it's going to be y plus 3. Right, I'm getting that from here. That's a positive 3. And y minus 5. All right, we get that from here. We do the inverse. So y is going to be negative 3. Y is going to equal 5. All right, we do the inverse here. The opposite of positive 3 is negative 3. The opposite of negative 5 is 5. Now I go back to my pretty much I have to eliminate extraneous solutions. Y cannot equal 5. right? Based on what we said here, because if y equals 5, it will make this 0. So that's undefined. So what we have to do is we have to take that off, and our solution is y equals -3.